Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of the Mongol invasions of 1328 to 29 during the reign of Sultan Mohammad bin Tughlaq, written in the simplest possible language, with all key facts, background, causes, events, and effects explained clearly, like telling a beginner-friendly story. Deep, detailed summary. Mongol invasions, 1328 to 1329. Time. During the rule of Mohammad bin Tughlaq, Sultan of Delhi, 1325 to 1351. Hampshire 1. 1. Background. What was happening before the invasion? During the early 1300s, the northwest border of India was often attacked by the Mongols, a powerful warrior group from Central Asia. Earlier sultans like Ghiyasuddin Balban, 1266-87, and Alauddin Khalji, 1296-1316, had built strong border defenses, trained armies, and defeated the Mongols many times. They followed a firm policy of resistance, meaning they always fought back. But in 1325, Mohammad bin Tughlaq became sultan. He was intelligent and ambitious, but often made strange and impractical decisions. One of his biggest mistakes was the decision to shift his capital city from Delhi in the north to Dawlatabad in the south. Number 2. Muhammad's capital shift. Why was this a problem? In 1327 to 28, Muhammad forced his entire government and many people to move from Delhi to Dawlatabad, over 1,500 kilometers away. He believed this new capital was more central and safe. But this decision had serious consequences. Delhi was left nearly empty. The northern frontier border of India became unguarded. There were no strong commanders or defenses in Multan, Lahore, or nearby areas. The path was open for foreign invaders. So, when the Mongols saw the weakness of the Delhi Sultanate, they decided to strike. 3. The Mongol invasion, 1328 to 29. What happened? In 1328 or 1329, a Mongol chief named Tarmashirin led a powerful Mongol army across the northwestern frontier of India. The Mongols entered from the side of Afghanistan, passed into Multan and Lahore, now in Pakistan, caused destruction, burning towns, looting wealth, advanced towards Delhi, reaching close to the city like us. This attack was unexpected because Muhammad had neglected the frontier. There were no experienced commanders, no prepared army, and no forts ready to resist the Mongols. The Sultan was caught by complete surprise. Number 4. The Sultan's response. How did Muhammad react? Mohammad bin Tughlaq did not have enough army or plans to defend Delhi quickly. Instead of preparing for a military battle, it is believed that he sent money and gifts, a bribe to Tarmashirin. He begged or persuaded him to go back peacefully. The Mongol chief accepted the offer and withdrew. Yes. In this way, the invasion ended without war, but it exposed major weaknesses in Muhammad's government. Number 5. Effects. What were the results of this invasion? Negative outcomes. The Mongols were not defeated, only paid to go away. The policy of resistance, followed by earlier strong rulers, was abandoned. Muhammad's administration looked weak, unprepared, and afraid. Future enemies might think India was now easy to attack. People lost trust in the Sultan's military strength. Lesson for history. This event clearly showed that a strong ruler must protect the frontiers, borders, at all times. Moving a capital without good planning can create danger. Bribing enemies does not solve problems. It invites more trouble. Intelligence without practical planning leads to failure. Number 6. Final words. Why is this important? The Mongol invasion of 1328 to 29 is remembered as a warning sign in Indian history. It proved that Mohammad bin Tughlaq, though clever in ideas, was often foolish in action. His policies were too quick, badly timed, and disconnected from reality. This event was one of the first cracks in his rule. After this, more problems came, like the failure of his token currency and rebellions across the empire. Quick recap. Element, explanation, reason for weakness, year, 1328 to 29 CE. Ruler, Sultan Mohammad bin Tughlaq. Invader, Mongol chief Tarmashirin. What happened? Mongols invaded from Multan to near Delhi. Reason for weakness. Capital was shifted to Dawlatabad, leaving Delhi defenseless. Sultan's response. Paid bribed the Mongol chief to go back. Result? Showed weakness of the Sultan. Old strong policies of resistance were ignored. Historical importance. Start of major failures in Muhammad's reign. Would you like me to turn this into a comic strip, mind map, or a story-style short narration next? Sure. Here's a great, deep, and very simple summary of the rebellions during Mohammed bin Tughlaq's reign, explained step by step and in the easiest English possible, like teaching someone with no history background at all. Deep, detailed summary. Rebellions during Mohammed bin Tughlaq's reign. Why did rebellions happen during his rule? Rebellions are when people rise up against the ruler. During Mohammed bin Tughlaq's rule, 1325 to 1351, many rebellions broke out, and they can be divided into two types. Early rebellions, 1325 to 1330s. These early rebellions were not caused because the people were unhappy or suffering. Instead, these rebellions were started by ambitious leaders, powerful chiefs who wanted to become king themselves or gain more power. Examples of early rebellions. 1. Bahauddin Gursasp, 1327. He was Muhammad's cousin. He ruled Sagar in the south, near modern Gulbarga, Karnataka. He rebelled and tried to break away. Muhammad defeated him and punished him very harshly. He was flayed alive, his skin was removed, a very cruel punishment. 2. Hindu chief of Khandana, Singar, near Pune. He was a local Hindu ruler. He also rebelled against Delhi. He was defeated and forced to accept Delhi's control, became a vassal, a smaller ruler under the king. 3. Bahram Aiba, ruler of Multan, Sindh, and Uch. He ruled a large region in northwest India. He was powerful and wanted independence. He was defeated by Muhammad and was killed. Summary of early rebellions. These were mostly started by power-hungry rulers. They were not the result of bad governance yet. 2. Later rebellions, after 1330s. These rebellions were much more serious and happened all over the empire. Why did these later rebellions happen? These happened because Muhammad's policies became harsh and unwise. He increased taxes even in flood and famine years. He punished people very cruelly. His currency reforms failed. He introduced token coins, but people started making fake coins. His decision to shift the capital from Delhi to Dawlatabad made people suffer. People were unhappy, tired, and angry. Ambitious men took advantage. Some leaders saw that Muhammad had lost support, so they thought, now is the right time to break away and become rulers ourselves. What happened next? Many parts of the empire, like Bengal, Deccan, Gujarat, Sindh, declared independence. The Sultanate became weaker and weaker. Muhammad kept fighting rebellions, but he could not control them all. His empire started breaking apart. Final summary, in 3 simple points. 1. Early rebellions, around 1325 to 1330, were started by powerful rulers who wanted more power, not because of bad governance. 2. Later rebellions, after 1330, happened because Muhammad's policies became cruel, people suffered, and the Sultan became very unpopular. 3. Because of this, many regions broke away and the Delhi Sultanate became weak and unstable. Why is this important in history? Mohammed bin Tughlaq was smart but made bad decisions. His reign shows even an intelligent king can fail if he doesn't care about people's suffering. Harsh punishments and bad timing in policies can cause a whole empire to collapse. Let me know if you'd like a comic strip of this event, or a timeline chart, or a quiz to test your understanding in simple way. Absolutely. Here's a great, deep, and detailed summary of the rebellions during the reign of Mohammed bin Tughlaq, written in very simple and clear language, like you're reading a story made for deep understanding. This summary includes all causes, events, and effects, so even a total beginner can fully grasp it. Great detailed summary. Rebellions during Mohammed bin Tughlaq's rule, 1325 to 1351. Why did so many rebellions happen? Mohammed bin Tughlaq was a powerful and intelligent king, but he made many strange, harsh, and unpopular decisions. These decisions made people angry and governors rebellious. Some of the main reasons for the rebellions were 1. Unpopular policies, like shifting the capital from Delhi to Dawlatabad and introducing token paper currency that failed. 2. High taxes, especially during famines when people were already starving. 3. Cruel punishments, like flaying alive, which scared but also enraged nobles. 4. Too large an empire. It was hard to control such a big area, especially the far corners like Bengal, Madurai, and Gulbarga. 5. Sultan's absence or weakness. He couldn't be everywhere at once. Many local rulers realized they could rule independently if they rebelled. So from 1330 to 1340, rebellion after rebellion broke out, from North India to the Deep South. Detailed summary of each rebellion. 1. Rebellion of Sayyid Jalaluddin Ahsan, 1335, Madurai, South India. Jalaluddin Ahsan was a governor in Madurai, modern Tamil Nadu. Seeing the Sultan's weakness, he declared himself independent and became ruler. Mohammad bin Tughlaq marched south himself, but could not defeat him. This led to the creation of the Madurai Sultanate, which stayed independent. Result, Delhi lost control over Madurai permanently. 2. Rebellion of Amir Hulaju, Lahore. Hulaju was the governor of Lahore, a very important northern city. He also tried to break free and become king. But unlike Ahsan, he was defeated and killed by the Sultan's forces. Result, rebellion crushed, but showed even northern governors were rebellious. 3. Rebellion of Malik Hushang, 1335 to 36. Daulatabad. Hushang was the son of the governor of Daulatabad in Maharashtra. He briefly rebelled but then surrendered and was forgiven. Result, peace restored here, but only temporarily. 4. Rebellions in Bengal, 1330 to 1339. First, Ghiyas-ud-Din Bahadur declared himself king of Bengal. The Sultan sent an army and killed him. But soon after, Bengal's powerful nobles fought among themselves. One noble, Ali Mubarak, asked Delhi for help but was ignored. So he declared himself king of Lucknowdi, a major Bengal city. Result, Bengal became fully independent from Delhi. 5. Rebellion of Nizam Mine, 1337 to 38. Kara. Nizam Mine ruled over Kara, near Allahabad. He also rebelled against the Sultan. He was defeated, and the Sultan had him flayed alive, skin removed as punishment. Result, rebellion crushed, but showed how cruel Muhammad could be. 6. Rebellion of Nasrat Khan, 1338 to 39. Bidar. Nasrat Khan was the governor of Bidar, Karnataka. He rebelled, but was defeated, forced to surrender, and lost his fief, land and power. Result, control restored, but the region became unstable. 7. Rebellion of Ali Shah, 1339 to 40. Gulbarga. Ali Shah rebelled in Gulbarga, South India. He was defeated, but not killed. Instead, he was banished to Ghazni, in present-day Afghanistan. Result, rebellion crushed, but it was clear that the Sultan's control in the Deccan was breaking down. Final analysis. What do these rebellions tell us? 1. Too many rebellions at once. These rebellions happened almost every year from 1330 to 1340. The Sultan had to run from one part of the country to another, trying to fix things. 2. The empire was falling apart. The Sultan's empire looked big on paper, but in reality, he had no strong control over many areas. From Bengal to Madurai, powerful governors started becoming independent kings. 3. Muhammad was not fully in control. Even though he was smart, he could not manage such a vast empire alone. His punishments were cruel, and his ideas were often too strange or early for the time, like paper money, shifting capitals, taxing during famine. 4. The rebellions weakened the Sultanate. These rebellions broke the unity of the Delhi Sultanate. Many small kingdoms started forming across India. This made the Sultanate much weaker, and it would never be as strong again. Summary table. Rebellions in simple form. Noah. Rebel leader, place, what happened, result. This made the Sultanate Lahore, rebelled. 1. Jalal-ud-Din Ahsan, Madurai, declared independence, became king, succeeded. 2. Amir Hulaju, Lahore, rebelled. Defeated and killed. 3. Malik Hushang, Daulatabad, rebelled briefly, surrendered, forgiven. 4. Ghiyas-ud-Din and Ali Mubarak, Bengal. One killed, other made himself king. Bengal lost to Delhi. 5. Nizam Mine, Kara, rebelled, defeated, flayed alive. 6. Nasrat Khan, Bidar, rebelled, defeated, land taken. 7. Ali Shah, Gulbarga, rebelled, defeated, sent to Ghazni. Final words. These rebellions are a sign that Mohammed bin Tughlaq's empire was too big and poorly managed. He had big dreams and tried new ideas, but the people suffered, and the governors lost faith in him. As a result, his rule became filled with revolts and bloodshed. His empire shrank as more and more areas broke away. This opened the door for new kingdoms and future invasions. So this was not just a story of rebels. It was the beginning of the end for the mighty Delhi Sultanate's strong hold over India. Would you like me to now turn this summary into a colorful comic strip, infographic, or a timeline poster for better memory and revision? Here is a great, deep, detailed, and simple summary of paragraphs 8, 9, and 10, which describe 3 important rebellions during the reign of Sultan Mohammed bin Tughlaq of the Delhi Sultanate. Overall context. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, ruled 1325 to 1351 CE, was a very intelligent but unpredictable ruler. He made many bold and strange decisions, such as shifting capitals, harsh tax policies, and sudden transfers of governors. This created fear, anger, and confusion among his officers and the people. As a result, many rebellions broke out during his reign. Now let's look at 3 of the most important rebellions in deep detail, one by one. 8. Ain ul-Mulk, Multani's rebellion, the scholar general who rebelled. W was he? Ain ul-Mulk Multani was one of the most senior and powerful officials in the Sultanate. He had worked since the time of Alauddin Khalji, showing his long service and loyalty. He was not only a brave warrior, but also a highly educated scholar. He was trained in Islamic law, jurisprudence, and religion theology. He wrote a book called Munshati Mahru, which gave detailed information about the administration of Pharaoh Tughlaq, a later sultan. He was respected for both his sword and his pen, a rare combination. What happened? In 1340 to 41 CE, Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq suddenly transferred him from Awadh, North India, to Daulatabad, South India. The Sultan had a habit of shifting people quickly and often punished them without warning. Ain ul-Mulk started believing that this transfer was not a promotion, but a trap to destroy him. Fearing for his life, he decided to rebel against the Sultan. Outcome: he was defeated by the Sultan's army, captured, and publicly humiliated. He was removed from his job and made to feel disgraced. However, Muhammad did not kill him because he believed Ain ul-Mulk was a half-hearted rebel, not someone truly trying to overthrow the king, just someone who panicked. So, Ain ul-Mulk's life was spared, but his political career ended. Significance: this rebellion shows how even the most loyal and respected officers had lost trust in the Sultan. It also shows how fear and suspicion spread under Muhammad's unpredictable rule. Shak 9. Shahu Afghan's rebellion, the sudden assassin. Who was he? Shahu Afghan was a bold and rebellious man, likely a local leader or soldier. Not much personal detail is given about him, but his action was violent and daring. What did he do? He killed the governor of Multan, a rich and important city in present-day Pakistan. After that, he took control of the city and ruled it himself, a direct challenge to the Sultan's authority. What did the Sultan do? Muhammad bin Tughlaq was enraged. Instead of sending a general, he marched there himself to deal with the rebellion. But before the Sultan could attack, Shahu fled to the hills. He ran away, showing that he had no real plan to fight the powerful Sultan's army. Significance: this rebellion shows how some people were bold enough to take over cities, but didn't have enough strength to hold on to power. It also shows that the Sultan had to handle rebellions personally, which weakened his grip over the entire empire. 10. Rebellion in Sunam and Samana, the Jats and Bhatti Rajputs. Who were they? This rebellion happened in Sunam and Samana, towns in Punjab. Local chiefs, leaders from the Jat and Bhatti Rajput communities. Jats, a strup. Bhatti Rajputs, a warrior clan known for bravery and local influence. What happened? These local chiefs refused to obey the Sultan, a clear rebellion. Muhammad bin Tughlaq led a military expedition to crush this uprising. What did the Sultan do? He defeated the Jats and Bhatti Rajputs in battle. He captured their leaders, brought them back to Delhi. Then, he forced them to convert to Islam, a very harsh and disrespectful action. Significance: this rebellion shows that even small towns and local groups were rising up against the Sultan. It also shows that Muhammad bin Tughlaq sometimes used religious force to punish rebels by changing their faith against their will. This was not just a military punishment, but a deep personal insult to those communities. Overall summary of all 3. Rebellion? Who rebelled? What happened? Sultan's action. Result? Ain ul-Mulk, a powerful officer and scholar, transfer, rebelled, defeated, spared, career ended, but life spared. Shahu Afghan, rebel who killed governor of Multan, took over city but fled when Sultan came. No battle, rebel escaped. Rebellion ended quietly. Sunam and Samana, Jats and Bhatti Rajputs. Refused to obey Sultan, defeated and captured, forced conversion to Islam. What these rebellions tell us. 1. Muhammad bin Tughlaq's rule was full of fear and mistrust. Even loyal officials were scared. 2. Rebellions happened across the empire. from Multan in the west to Sunam in the north and Dawlatabad in the south. 3. The Sultan had to personally handle many uprisings, which shows how unstable the kingdom had become. 4. Some rebels like Ainul Mulk were educated and elite. Others like Shahu were violent and sudden, and others were local community leaders. 5. The Sultan used military force, public insult, and even religious punishment to crush rebellion, which made his rule even more unpopular. Would you like a visual comic strip version of this summary or a timeline chart of the events? Let me know. I can create both in the simplest way too. Here is a great, deep, detailed summary of the foundation of the Vijayanagar Empire and related rebellions, explained in the most simple, clear, and beginner-friendly way. Background. What was going on in India at that time? In the early 1300s, India was ruled in the north by a Muslim ruler named Mohammad bin Tughlaq, Sultan of Delhi, but his rule was full of problems. Many of his governors and officers rebelled, disobeyed him. People were angry because of bad treatment, heavy taxes, and his strange ideas, like moving the capital. Because of these problems, his control over faraway places like South India became weak. 11. Birth of the Vijayanagar Empire, 1336. In southern India, the local Hindu people saw a chance to become independent when they noticed that Sultan Muhammad's rule was becoming weak. One brave Hindu leader, Harihara, also called Harihar or Haka, decided to act. In 1336, he started a new Hindu kingdom called Vijayanagar. Vijayanagar means city of victory. Vijaya equals victory. Nagar, city. Support to rebellions. In 1343-44, a man named Krishna Nayak rebelled against the Sultan. Harihara gave him secret help. This means Harihara was quietly helping other rebels to weaken the Sultan more. Why? So the Sultan would lose power in the south, and the Hindu kingdom could grow stronger. Result? The rebellion could not be stopped by the Sultan. A large part of southern India went into the hands of the Hindus. The Delhi Sultanate lost control over the region. The Vijayanagar Empire began to rise as a major Hindu power in South India. Rebellion at Devagiri, 1345. In 1345, the people of Devagiri, present-day Dawlatabad, Maharashtra, rebelled. Why? Because the local officers, rulers working for the Sultan, were very cruel and took too much tax or wealth from people. The historian Farishta wrote, open quote, "People rebelled in all directions. The land became destroyed and empty," close quote. This means people were so angry they fought back in many places. Fighting and destruction caused ruin, many areas were damaged, and people ran away or died. Final impact. The Delhi Sultan's power collapsed in southern India. The Vijayanagar Empire rose as a strong Hindu kingdom. Devagiri, Dawlatabad, also slipped out of control. The Sultanate became weaker, especially in faraway places. Fun fact. Vijayanagar became one of the greatest kingdoms in Indian history. It became a center of Hindu culture, art, temples, trade, and military power. It lasted for more than 200 years. If you want, I can also make comic strip of this, timeline of events, map showing Delhi Sultanate and Vijayanagar rise. Just let me know. Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of the topic you asked about. The rebellion of the foreign nobles, Amirani Sada, during the reign of Mohammad bin Tughlaq in the simplest and clearest way possible. Hashash, background context. Who were the Amirani Sada? Amirani Sada literally means centurions. They were foreign nobles, outsiders, not native Indians, in the Delhi Sultanate. These nobles were given special treatment and privileges by the Sultan. For example, they got extra money, land, power, and freedom compared to others. They were expected to stay loyal and help the Sultan rule, especially in the Deccan, south-central India. What caused the rebellion? These foreign nobles became corrupt. They stole government money. This is called embezzlement. Helped other rebels who were already fighting against the Sultan. Looted and robbed villages and towns during times of political chaos, especially in the Deccan region. Think of them like police officers who are supposed to protect the city, but instead they steal from people and secretly help criminals. What did Mohammed bin Tughlaq do? He ordered a strong officer, Aziz Kumar, governor of Malwa, to take action. Muhammad said, "Punish these foreign nobles." Aziz followed the order, but with betrayal and trickery. He invited the nobles in a friendly way, then killed many of them suddenly. without warning or trial. What happened next? The other foreign nobles in Gujarat, another important region, were angry. They felt cheated and afraid because of how Aziz had killed their fellow nobles. So, they also rebelled. These rebels captured Aziz, the governor who had killed their friends, killed him in revenge. Final outcome: Mohammad bin Tughlaq himself marched to Gujarat to control the rebellion. He fought a battle near Dabhoi, a place in Gujarat. He won the battle and defeated the rebels. This finally ended the problem with the foreign nobles, Amiran-e-Sada. Summary in one sentence: foreign nobles called Amiran-e-Sada, who had special privileges, became corrupt and rebellious. When Mohammed bin Tughlaq tried to punish them through his governor Aziz Kumar, it led to more rebellion and bloodshed, but in the end, Mohammed crushed the revolt by force near Dabhoi. Bonus analogy, very simple example. Imagine a school where the principal, Mohammed, gives some special students, Amiran-e-Sada, extra powers and gifts, but those students start cheating, stealing, and helping bullies. So the principal tells a teacher, Aziz, to punish them. The teacher kills them secretly, and more students get angry and attack the teacher. Then the principal himself comes in, fights the rebels, and restores order. Let me know if you'd like a comic strip or visual version of this explanation too. Is a deep, simple, and very detailed summary of the passage you gave, broken and in the easiest words for full understanding, like teaching someone with no background in history. What happened in simple words? This part talks about two big rebellions during the last years of Mohammed bin Tughlaq's the Sultan of from 1325 to 13. Part 1. Devagiri Rebellion and Birth of the Bahmani Kingdom. What is Devagiri? Devagiri was a city in the Deccan region, central southern India. It was once the capital of the Yadava kings. Muhammad had earlier taken control of it and made it an important place. Who rebelled? The foreign nobles, wealthy or powerful men from other places, not native Indians, who lived in Devagiri got scared. They thought the Sultan might kill or punish them like he had done with other nobles earlier, like the Amiran-e-Sada rebellion. What did they do? They started a rebellion. They took full control of Devagiri. From Devagiri, the rebellion spread to nearby regions like Berar, Khandesh, Malwa. What did the Sultan do? Muhammad had to travel to Devagiri with his army to fight this rebellion. But while he was busy, another rebellion broke out in Gujarat, another region far away. So the Sultan had to leave Devagiri and go to Gujarat. What happened next? The rebels in Devagiri used this chance. They declared freedom from the Sultan's rule. They said, "We don't follow Delhi anymore." They started their own kingdom, the Bahmani Kingdom, one of the most powerful kingdoms in the Deccan for 150 plus years. This was a huge loss for Mohammed bin Tughlaq. A big part of his empire was now permanently gone. Part 2. Gujarat Rebellion and Muhammad's Final Days. What happened in Gujarat? A man named Taghi led a strong rebellion there. He was a dangerous enemy who had many followers. What did Muhammad do? He chased Taghi from place to place. Finally, Taghi had to run away and hide in Sindh, present-day Pakistan, in a place called Thatta. What did Muhammad do next? He stayed in Gujarat for 3 years. Why? 1. To fix the government of Gujarat. It was badly damaged due to rebellion. 2. To conquer Girnar, a hill region in Gujarat today called Junagadh. Then he went to Sindh. He went there to catch and punish Taghi. But something unexpected happened. Muhammad became very sick in Sindh. He died on March 20th, 1351. A famous historian named Badauni wrote, open quote, "The king was freed from his people, and the people were freed from the king." Close quote. This means, the Sultan's rule was full of problems and suffering. His people were tired of his rule. His death was a kind of relief, both for him and his people. Final summary. One paragraph. Near the end of Mohammed bin Tughlaq's rule, powerful foreign nobles in Devagiri rebelled because they feared punishment. The rebellion spread across many parts of the Deccan, and when Muhammad left to deal with trouble in Gujarat, the rebels declared independence and created the Bahmani Kingdom, breaking away from the Delhi Sultanate. Meanwhile, in Gujarat, a rebel named Taghi gave Muhammad a lot of trouble. Muhammad stayed there for 3 years to fix things, and then went to Sindh to punish Taghi, but he fell ill and died in 1351. His rule ended in deep rebellion, loss of territory, and exhaustion. both for the king and his people. Would you like a comic strip for this part too? Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of the text on his character and estimate, Mohammed bin Tughlaq, in the simplest language, like teaching a total beginner or a child. Main idea: people, both in the past and today, have very different opinions about Mohammed bin Tughlaq, the Sultan of Delhi. Some say he was crazy or cruel. Others say he was smart and not mad at all. So he is one of the most debated kings in medieval. What the old historians said. Some writers who lived at that time, like Barani and Ibn Battuta, met Mohammed bin Tughlaq personally. But even these two historians gave opposite opinions. One said he was good and had many good qualities. The other said he had many faults and made big mistakes. What modern European writers said. Some British writers like Elphinstone, Havell, Edward Thomas, and Vincent Smith thought Muhammad might have been mentally ill, not completely sane. They said he was violent, made bad decisions, and had wild dreams that didn't work. But another writer, Gardner Brown, strongly disagreed. He said Muhammad was not mad, not cruel, and not a dreamer. Brown thought Muhammad was intelligent and misunderstood. Indian scholars wrote books too. Two Indian full books called monographs only on Mohammed bin Tughlaq's rule. Still, even today, historians do not agree on whether he was a genius, a failure, or something in. Final thought. Mohammed bin Tughlaq is a very confusing and he did big things. Some were amazing ideas, and some were huge disasters. That's why people are still arguing and thinking deeply about him, even after 700 years. Example to help understand. Think of a school principal who has brilliant ideas, like giving all students free laptops, but also makes very sudden decisions, like moving the school 100 kilometers away in 1 week, and punishes people harshly when they don't agree. Some teachers say, he's amazing. Others say, no, he's crazy. That's exactly how people feel about Mohammed bin Tughlaq. If you want a comic this summary too. Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of the text about Mohammed bin Tughlaq's personal character in the simplest English, like teaching a complete beginner or child. Who was Mohammed bin Tughlaq person? Many people know Mohammed bin Tughlaq as a king, but this text tells us about his personal character. What life, not just as a ruler. 1. Very loved to learn. He had a sharp brain and amazing memory. He loved studying very much. He was an expert in many subjects, like logic, thinking clearly and reasoning, philosophy, thinking about life and existence, mathematics, numbers and calculations, astronomy, study of stars and planets, physical sciences, study of Persian literature. He read and enjoyed poems and stories in Persian. Example, he was like a person who loved reading books about everything, from math and science to stories and poems, and remembered it all very well. Good at speaking and writing. He was very good at expressing himself clearly, talking, writing beautifully, composition, speaking wisely and strongly, speech, arguing with logic and skill. He was a great dialectician, someone who debates well. Example, he could win arguments using calm and clever words, and he also wrote and spoke like a true scholar. 3. Loved arts and culture. He loved calligraphy, beautiful handwriting, fine arts, music, paintings, poetry, music, and being around smart people, scholars, poets, artists. Example, he was like someone who decorated, listened to good music, and always invited writers and poets for friendly talks. 4. Kind and moral man. His personal life had good morals. He was honest and lived a clean life. He avoided bad habits common in those days, like drinking, cheating, or being cruel. He was very humble, did not show off. 5. Very generous. Two famous people, Barani and Ibn Battuta, said he was very generous, gave many gifts and rewards to people. He cared about his family and friends, loved his cousin Feroz Tughlaq, respected friends like Barani. Example, he gave away money and presents without expecting anything in return, and always helped his loved ones. 6. Religious and faithful. Some people accused him of not being religious, but that's not true. Ibn Battuta said he believed in morality, goodness. He was devoted to Islam. He prayed 5 times a day, and he kept all the fasts in Ramadan. Example, he followed all the rules of his religion and prayed daily with discipline. 7. Hard-working and focused ruler. He worked very hard, paid attention to every small detail of administration. His hard work became famous. People used to say, "Look how hard he works." He was trained as a soldier since childhood. He was an experienced general, fought many battles. Historians all agree that he loved military action. He was not a lazy king who sat in the palace. He led armies, made plans, and worked like a full-time administrator. Conclusion: Mohammed bin Tughlaq, as a private person, was smart, moral, generous, religious, artistic, friendly, hardworking, brave. His personal life was much better than his political decisions, which were often confused or failed. But as a human being, many people, even critics, praised him. If you want this turned into comic strips or comic scenes, just say the word. Here is a great, deep, and very simple summary of the full passage about Mohammed bin Tughlaq, explained in the easiest way possible, like teaching a complete beginner. Who was Mohammed bin Tughlaq as a person? Intelligent and well-educated. Mohammed had a very sharp brain and a great memory. He loved learning. He was like a walking library. He knew a lot about logic, how to think clearly, philosophy, big life questions, mathematics, astronomy, stars and planets, physical sciences, how nature works, Persian poetry and literature. Example, like a person today who is a top scientist, poet, and writer all in one. 2. Master of words and arguments. He was very good at writing and speaking clearly, debating and arguing in clever ways, like a top lawyer. Beautiful writing, arts, especially music. He also loved spending time with wise and educated people. Example, he would enjoy talking to authors, scientists, or musicians for hours. 3. Morally good in personal life. He stayed away from the common bad habits of his time. He was very humble, not proud, honest, and generous, gave lots of gifts and rewards. He showed love for family and friends, like his cousin Firoz and the writer Barani. He truly followed Islam, prayed 5 times a day, fasted, and lived a clean, moral life. 4. Very hard-working and serious about ruling. He was known for paying attention to every little detail of government, working non-stop with great energy. He was also a trained soldier and an experienced general who had fought battles. People praised his love for military action. What was wrong with his rule? Even though he was so talented, his ruling and administration failed badly. 1. He started with a big, strong empire. He ruled over all of North India, even South India, Deccan. But after 26 years of rule, when he died, the Deccan was lost. Bengal broke away. Sindh in the west was slipping away. Even the areas he still controlled had rebellions and chaos. So, the empire he got big, but the one he left behind was broken and small. 2. He had big dreams, but they all failed. He wanted to make a new capital city in the center of the empire. It failed and hurt the people. Create a new currency system, token currency. It totally failed. Make the revenue system more scientific. It confused people. These ideas might have worked in a modern time, but back then they failed badly because people didn't understand them. His way of forcing them was harsh, and he didn't listen to advice. 3. People became his enemies. Even though he gave a lot of money and gifts, people did not love or support him. They rebelled again and again. He told the historian Barani, open quote, "I punish people harshly, even for small reasons. I have no minister to guide me. I give people wealth, but they still turn against me." Close quote. This shows he knew deep inside that he had failed. Final summary, like a story. Mohammed bin Tughlaq was a super intelligent man, like a scientist, poet, and artist in one. He lived a good moral life, was generous, religious, and worked very hard. But as a ruler, he failed badly. His big ideas were too advanced for his empire broke apart, policies confused people, and his strict punishments made him unpopular. Even he felt sad and frustrated that his people hated him, despite all his efforts. Moral of the story. A person can be very smart and good, but still fail as a ruler if they don't listen to others, force big changes too fast, and rule with fear instead of love. Let me know if you want this as a colored comic strip too.